Hey there, friends. Chad here, and another one. If you're interested in breaking into your first tech sales role, if you found out about what tech sales is and you're curious, how do I get into this thing? This is your video, okay? If your approach hasn't been landing you roles or even landing you interviews, there could be something going wrong, and there usually is, and it's not your fault, but there's just so much confusion from what I've seen and have had personally before getting into tech sales, and honestly, just a lot of limiting beliefs as well in the space on, things that can keep you from actually realizing, that you may just be a few steps away from striking gold, right? So that's what I'm going to talk about in this video, and also give you a step-by-step kind of plan on how I would do it starting from scratch, okay? And a little about me, I've been in tech sales for basically 3 years, and I have experience succeeding in high ticket sales and being a top performer there as well. But today we're going to be focused specifically on tech sales, okay? But I've taken this vehicle to over 10K a month. I've generated over $6 million in annual recurring revenue pipeline in just tech alone. And that was that was at one of the most competitive companies in the space, HubSpot, which is a very well-known one in the tech arena. And I've also consistently been a top performer multiple times over, and have ranked in the top 1%, in the top 5 among hundreds of people as well, consistently. So I'm in full belief that this vehicle that I had found a long time ago, and I'll tell you a little bit about my story, in the tech industry, it is one of the best tools that you can have in your arsenal. If you're someone who's ambitious and you feel like you're entrepreneurial and you want to build cash flow now, and you also feel like you want to be independent one day and build something of your own, right? That's exactly the type of people that the remote sales space in general is for, and it's what I've found after failing tons of things. And just a little about my story is, back in 2021, I remember there was one day I woke up after college. I was in my parents' basement. We had these fluorescent lights in the basement, and I would always turn on the lights, and I would just be in this, kind of built room in the corner of the basement. And day after day, I was just trying and trying to make businesses work, because at this time I was starting to resonate away. There was one day I woke up and I was just fed up with just the type of work where I was just making an hourly pay, and I was just doing kind of admin tasks and stuff of that nature. And I was confined to one location. I didn't have the remote flexibility to, Airbnb hop or travel or do the things that I wanted, really. And I wasn't quite making a lot of money either. And so it wasn't until I found this vehicle that it just absolutely changed my life, guys. And so this is why I'm passionate about turning around and helping people with this. So, okay, so without further ado, let's get right into it, right? So this is how to break into tech sales from scratch. This is how I would do it, okay? And I always start with the mindset, okay, for good reason. And I'm going to show some things on screen in a second, and you can kind of follow along chronologically. But the mind is the biggest place to start, okay? I just have to address the limiting beliefs and some other things to help you overcome the internal blockages that are keeping you from taking action. I'm trying to grab your brain and just poke a few things out of it, because so many people approach tech sales and landing a role and think that, one, they don't have any formal sales training or experience, and that disqualifies them. Okay, that's the first thing. And I'll just tell you right now, I used to just think that landing a job was kind of just up to chance. I thought that it was either I was qualified or I wasn't. And whatever jobs and titles I've had, that my resume was just static, and that it was just that. And then I kind of it was up to chance. I either get this role or I don't. And if they don't like my resume, I'm screwed. It's not that way, guys. And this kept me, it kept me from having this self-belief to even think that this was possible for me, guys, to break into sales and make good money with it, okay? It was all limiting belief. The truth is, and I'll talk about what I mean by this soon in the steps, and I'm going to show you actually how to present yourself correctly in the way that I would approach it, and that I did approach it to actually land a solid role and make the money that I wanted. you actually don't need any formal sales training, okay? Sales is one of those roles where even if you don't realize it, you have sales experience. In fact, everybody does. It's just a fact, okay? If you've ever convinced someone of something, if you ever had an argument with someone, if you ever talked someone into something or out of something, if you've ever understood philosophy, psychology, personal development, like that's all sales. Sales is basically just communication, guys. Anytime that you've helped someone see a different perspective or ask for something you wanted, that was sales. You were doing sales since you were a baby, guys. You've been doing it your whole life and you didn't realize it, okay? The other thing too is, and I know that can be a little bit wishy-washy where it's like, oh yeah, Chad, all right, but like what's the practical, steps? But this is important to know because the other thing is people that are hiring for salespeople, they're really just looking for a mindset. They're just looking for a mindset. And the reason that is because people want to hire coachable reps that they can actually mold into their way of selling. Guys, I've spoken and paid sales managers and recruiters and talked about this stuff with them. And they've told me literally they'd rather have someone who's younger, that is moldable, that has less sales experience than like a super skilled and experienced rep that is like stuck in his ways that isn't coachable. Because the truth is sales has different styles, just like everybody has different personalities, right? Like if everyone had the same personality, the world would be boring, guys. And it's the same with business and companies and sales. There's different styles. Selling tech is a little bit different than selling high ticket sales. Selling in real estate is a little bit different than selling remotely, right? So it's like they want people who are able to be molded into the philosophies and ideologies and the styles that the company wants to curate, okay, and that the team does. So it's really, they're just looking for a mindset that you're coachable, that you're willing to go above and beyond and are hungry and driven and you're goal oriented, right? Like they're looking for mindset stuff, guys. So this is why you don't need any formal sales training, okay? You don't. And I've personally seen and helped people with zero experience, okay? I've helped people like Ryan, who was working in a spa, and he literally in about 3 weeks, I took him into his first role where he was making about $6K a month in tech. Okay, I worked with another person, multiple people, guys, people who were 19 and they had just got out of high school, no college degree, no formal sales training or experience, and getting solid roles in tech where they're then making 60K, 70K a year right off the bat. Okay, so this is literally just a limiting belief. And I know that this is prevalent in the space. Some people may disagree with me, but that's okay. I have an abundance mindset, and having a scarcity mindset doesn't help you. And it helps you to have the abundance mindset and not resonate with things that limit you, because if you believe it, then you won't take action and it won't come into fruition. Okay? The second limiting belief is that the job market's shit. Okay? I really don't like this one because so many people say this, guys, and this is my opinion. Take it or leave it. Again, abundance mindset or scarcity mindset. But for me, it's simply not true in what I've seen, right? And a lot of people disagree with my take on this. That's fine, okay? In my opinion, this is just scarcity mindset, right? Take it or leave it. Yes, there's people that get laid off. There's people, like, shit happens. But the truth is there's countless opportunities out there. I don't think you even understand, okay? I didn't understand this. Not only is there opportunities just in your country, in the industry you want, guys, there's opportunities all over the world for remote sales roles in tech, high ticket sales. It doesn't matter what it is. Guys, sales is the lifeblood of business. A business cannot operate without sales and salespeople. And so they're the first people to get hired, guys. And there's always new companies opening up, new companies that maybe are laying off people, but are hiring people at the same time, right? And if you can be the person and present yourself correctly, guys, it's very unlikely you're going to be the person that gets laid off. And that rarely happens, okay? The other limiting belief is I'm just an average guy. I'm not sure sales is for me. Can I really do this? Okay, I hear this one a lot. And what I tell people is it's just like riding a bike, guys. And this is maybe like, it is this simple. And I know your brain is probably more like, it's not that simple, Chad. It's not that simple. But it is. It really is. When you first book your first meeting, you go, oh, wow. I can do this. I can do this again. It was that easy, right? People just anticipate it being harder than it is. Same as riding a bike. It's like, oh, wow, that's scary. But then you get it and you're like, oh, this is what it is. Wow, okay. You see what I mean? It is that simple. And I know you may get pissed off like, Chad, that's the simplest analogy. And what if I can't do this? I'm just telling you, you can, okay? Believe in yourself, all right? So now let's get into some of the practical stuff. And by the way, guys, like, I have a special gift for you in this video. So a year ago, I made a full free guide that actually walks you through the whole process of finding and landing your first role in tech sales. It's already helped hundreds of people, and it's helped people land their first roles and break into tech. And it covers a lot of things that I'm talking about here, but it actually is a step-by-step roadmap that has helped someone from a complete beginner go fully into tech with no experience. Okay, so check that out. It's free. I made the full guide. I'm actually very proud of it because I have so many people who reach out to me saying that it changed their life. So the second link in the description, did I say first? Second. Second one will be the link where you can grab that. So check that out. So now let's get into the practical stuff. Okay, let's talk about the approach. All right, the next thing I would do after erasing these limitations from your brain, okay, I give you permission to just flick them out. Like, I want to honestly just flick them out for you. After you do that, the next thing would be to sharpen your branding. Okay, so I'm going to show an example of resume and how I would take somebody who thinks they have no experience into having a banger resume, having a undeniable experience to land their first role. Okay, so let's go to the screen. Okay, so what we're looking at here is, this is a mock resume, okay? I named this Johnny Doe, okay? He's gonna be our friend for today. Now, most people approach resume, like I was saying before, and just think that it's static, okay? So this is an example of someone with pretty much no sales experience, right? Like, some of the stuff was actually me, okay? So we have, general structure, career interests, just kind of general, blah, blah, blah. Work experience, okay? Beat maker and music producer, freelance, remote. Okay, this is something that I did. I was producing beats, instrumentals for artists, and I sold some, and I handled client communication, promoted beat sales. Like, this stuff is pretty good, okay? And the other thing, I was an office assistant, or Johnny Doe in this thing was an office assistant at John Smith Logistics, okay? Maybe it was an admin type job where he filed documents and he assisted in printing, copying, organizing records, stuff like that. And also pizza delivery driver, okay? Maybe he delivered some pizzas, he handled some transactions, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so people may look at this and be like, oh, well, I'm stuck. Like, this is just all I have, right? Guys, it's not the case. The skill here in sharpening your branding, and this is just a piece of it, is to pull the sales-oriented aspects of what you did to the forefront. Okay, so let's look at what that can look like. So this is Johnny's resume after I helped him work on it, okay? This is hypothetical. So what we did first is make his career interests tailored to specifically the role he wanted, okay, SaaS. The next thing is, this isn't a huge deal, but this just lists some of the traits that he has and what he's looking for in terms of he's a driven, empathetic professional seeking a business development role or an SDR role, right? Which are the entry-level roles in tech, by the way. SDR, BDR, it's the same thing. It's just booking meetings, and then usually people will jump up to a closer after that, okay? So, where he can leverage his, and then he brags, communication skills, passion for problem solving, and driving new sales opportunities. It's speaking to the role. Okay, so as much as you want, the theme in all this is you want to tailor yourself speaking to the role as much as you can. Okay, he also just puts that he's entrepreneur-driven, goal-oriented, team player, resilient, just the traits that they're looking for and some of the mindset stuff that I was explaining, guys. And then work experience, okay? This is where a lot of people will get hung up, okay? We've actually rebranded Johnny to call him a sales associate, sales development associate at John Smith Logistics. Because if you look at what he was actually doing, he was answering phones and he was routing client inquiries. Okay, you can change up and morph the way you say it to make it sound more oriented toward what people are doing in a sales role that you want. Okay, because in truth, what we found out is he was handling 50 plus daily inbound client and internal calls. He was routing inquiries, qualifying needs. He was booking 5 to 7 follow-up meetings weekly. Okay, so this is how we can start to mesh in that language that makes it look more closer to what we're trying to target and is true. Okay, it's just about painting yourself as close as you can and using the lingo and helping them understand, helping them see that you understand the responsibilities of the role and you're tailoring it as much as possible. Okay, they'll respect this, by the way, even if it's not 100% like, oh well, your title wasn't sales development associate. Like, they're never going to say that, one, and two, they don't care, because what that does is it shows sales skills. It shows that you know how to present yourself and tailor yourself to someone who you're trying to close. Okay, so you're trying to close them. This is a sale in itself. And that's another thing about approaching this for the first time. Approach it like a sale. And so what we did is we added some numbers, we added some language around qualifying, booking meetings, handling client inquiries. We added numbers and things of that nature, right? I mean, I would recommend looking at the responsibilities of the role you're trying to get and seeing how close you can come to explaining that you're doing what that you have done in the past, what that was, okay? And what I did was I brought up his most relevant experience up to the forefront, okay? And I changed his pizza delivery to customer service representative. Why? Because it's just more customer facing and it's still operating with integrity. I mean, what you're doing in pizza delivery is literally customer service, right? And then we're making it look more sales oriented. Managed 40 plus daily inbound calls to confirm orders. Okay, that's something that they do at a pizza delivery shop. Okay, you resolved issues, upsold items, right? You can even say that, guys. It's just about making it look the most sales oriented as you can. Okay, delivered 20, 30 plus orders per shift. That's like, it's quite literal, but it looks more sales related. You see how I'm kind of like tailoring everything? Initiated outbound confirmation calls during peak hours. Okay, calling people saying, "Hey, your pizza's here." Like, even if it's not like the same, it can look close, and it is in fact demonstrating skills. Okay, so I'm not going to go too deep into this. The other stuff that he did was, some courses and certifications to make himself look really good, right? Make himself show that he, is into his self-development. Putting some personal hobbies and achievements down here. I realize you can't see that. Just one second. Yeah, down here. And that makes it look really good as well. And what you can do is on your LinkedIn, you change everything to make from your LinkedIn to make it congruent with this in terms of the titles you're choosing. And you don't have to put your responsibilities, but just make it congruent, and you can add certifications on there. Make a clean LinkedIn profile as well. That's one of the biggest parts of branding, okay? Another trick is to get 500 connections on your LinkedIn. It just shows status. Like, think of whenever you have an Instagram profile that has like the blue check, or a Twitter profile that has a blue check. It's a similar vibe. And what I would do there is just connect with people on LinkedIn. You can just connect with people, like search up a company in tech, just start connecting with them. Start building up your social credibility on your LinkedIn profile, because that is one of the first things that they're going to look at. So clean picture, clean header, make it congruent with your resume. And that's branding, guys, at its essence, right? There's a lot more to this, but we just brought Johnny from thinking that he was just like, doomed to just be in the experience he had, to actually making him look pretty solid in terms of competing with other people and getting roles. Okay. So that's this. Let's move to the next section here in the next part of this approach. Okay. All right, guys, drop a comment. Let me know how you're enjoying this so far. I'm playing around with different styles of content on my channel as I continue to grow, but yeah, let me know. So this is the biggest thing. So this is the second part of the approach, okay? This is the biggest thing that I see wrong with people's approach, okay? The first time that I approached landing my first sales role, I felt this too, where I just was mass applying. I thought that the more applications I got out, the better success I would have, okay? So I would just send countless applications out. And there's a few problems with this, okay? One is that there's hundreds of people applying to these roles too, guys. And if all you're doing is just applying on the job posting or website, you're playing a tough game. You're playing kind of a game that's rigged against you. The odds are not in your favor, okay? Especially when it comes to these desirable roles, right? So usually when you play this game, you may hear back and get an interview this way, but it won't likely come from a desirable company, okay? And the first role that I've ever got when I started taking this approach, was in a startup where, the product wasn't as fleshed out it wasn't fully structured. There wasn't really a lot of training in place. It was kind of just a really small team without a lot of development, brand new company, because they were just needing salespeople. Okay. And so that's kind of like, it can almost be a bad sign when you get so much traction when you're doing mass applying, because, that means that not a lot of people are applying to those companies. Okay. That's basically what it means. And this is the exact thing that I experienced. And so when you're in this mindset of mass applying and just taking whatever you can get, that's exactly what you're going to receive back in return. And that's an energetic thing as well, right? If you're just like, just blah, 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 just sending everything out and just waiting and being like, oh, the job market's shit. Like there's a reason why you're not getting traction, right? You're not putting enough focus and desire. Like these companies don't feel you. You got to make sure that these companies feel you. Like, for example, if you hop on a call with somebody and like, nothing about their company, it's obvious that you're just someone who's looking for a job, right? People don't hire people like that. They hire people who are interested in them specifically. Okay. So if you can shift your approach just a little bit and actually, adopt a choosing mindset, you can actually make much more traction, because you're putting your interest into specific places. So I always tell people, make a list of 10 to 20 companies that you're actually finding and strategically looking out for, that you're actually genuinely interested in, because that's going to make you stand out when you approach them, and they're going to feel you. They're going to feel you. Okay. And I'll tell you how to stand out among the applicants. But that's what you want to do instead. Okay. And also another thing, don't rule out anything in the job descriptions, okay? Maybe sometimes they say, oh, bachelor's degree required, or 2+ years of specific experience required. It's all limiting belief, guys. I've seen it time and time again. I've helped people personally get into roles like that without hitting those qualification metrics. They're not really looking for that, okay? That's just the person who put up the hiring posting, okay? When you talk to the sales manager, if you show the right mindset, they're gonna want you. Okay, and that's what I'm going to tell you how to do in this next step, all right? But take a choosing mindset. Don't mass apply. Strategically look, and there's a few places that I love to find tech roles, okay? The first one is just going through LinkedIn, but not just applying to everything. I mean, I remember when I was desperate to get into this space, I was just literally easy applying to everything, okay? It doesn't work, all right? You want to look for these green signs. You can still find diamonds in the rough. You want to check the company page when you find a role and see, are there people listed on LinkedIn? Do they have a good sales team? Right? These are some of the things you want to look for. Why? Because, you're concerned about your own development, right? If they don't have a sales team, you're not going to get that much training and development. It's probably going to be harder to make money, especially if you're a beginner, you see? And so you want to find somewhere that has a sales manager at least, right? Someone who you can lean on and get mentorship from and help you when you run into roadblocks and mold you into a good salesperson, right? So that's why you want to vet that out. You want to make sure they have a solid team and that the company at least has like 100 employees listed on LinkedIn. Okay. That's going to be at a minimum what I would look for if you want a really, solid role. Okay. The other thing I'd look for is the other tool that I'd use is Crunchbase. It's also one of my secret sauces. Okay. I'm not sponsored by them. You can find amazing tech companies on there. There's a 7-day free trial, but you can cancel it after 7 days. What it allows you to do is literally find hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of solid tech companies and filter down for specific characteristics of employee range, industry, niche within tech, right? So this can help you surface up so much. And then you can look at the company's website or LinkedIn page and see if they're hiring for salespeople, which they usually are, okay? These companies hire all the time, guys, every month or so, okay? Especially these big companies. Okay, then the third thing, this is what I call undeniable impressions. Okay, guys, so this is, you hear this all the time that people are making these excuses of like, oh, they got that job because they knew someone. Now, there's something to that, and that's true. Yes, a lot of people can get jobs because they know someone in the company, right? And there's actually something to that, okay? But what people don't know is that you can actually formate your own connections to have this work in your favor for whatever company you want to work for, Okay. Why does it work? Because when someone internally that's already in the company refers someone, it's kind of like they're already vouched for by someone who works there and has been vetted out. So it just the trust is increased. But if you can get referred by someone, you literally almost guarantee your shot at an interview at least. Okay. And so here's a story about me. Before I got into HubSpot, I actually connected with an account executive on the team, and I sent him an email telling him how I was interested in the role and if he was open to having a quick chat with me about it. Okay, it was as simple as that. He agreed. And after just talking with him a bit and showing interest and curiosity, he offered. I didn't even ask to refer me internally to the company. And so I sent him my resume. He even looked at it a bit and gave me some tips first. But that basically guaranteed me the interview, guys. And the funny thing is, I actually got denied before that at the same company. So I first just was doing the apply thing and I got denied. And I was like, oh shit, I lost hope. But even after I got denied, having that conversation gave me another shot to when I then got accepted for an interview. Okay. So I'm telling you, don't sleep on this trick. Okay. And if you want a template for this, to use, I'll put one up on screen right now. Okay, this is kind of just a simple email. You could screenshot it. You could send it to people who are in the role, maybe either a BDR or an account executive. Okay, both of them will have the ability to refer you if they like you. Now, most people don't know this as well. Okay, employees at a company are motivated to refer people in because if they get the job, they actually get compensated. Okay, anywhere from like $1,500 to $2,500. So you can use this in your favor, guys, to actually make it a win-win situation and help them while them helping you. Okay, people don't realize that. Okay, that's an extreme tip, guys. So, and this doesn't just work in tech sales. This works in any sales role, by the way. High ticket sales, doesn't matter what you're trying to get into. Okay, and as for how to find people, you can find them on LinkedIn. You can connect with them on LinkedIn, shoot them a message there. I prefer to use email and find their email because that just shows a little bit of extra sales ability. You can use like hunter.io for that, okay? There's obviously more nuance to this stuff, guys, but from there, I mean, you get referred internally, you hop on the interview, they already see that you've showed interest in them specifically because you've connected with someone on their team, right? You're not just someone looking for a job, you're showing interest. And if you hop on that interview and tell them, yeah, I spoke with so-and-so and, you know, they've really gave me a good impression. I've always been interested in your guys' company. But yeah, after hearing specific things from James or whoever it was about the culture, this really feels like a place that I want to learn and grow in for the long term. Like if you show up on an interview like that after having done this approach and your resume looks oriented and you've connected with people on the team, like this is going to take you from this is going to take you way up here in terms of increasing your chances of landing a role, especially for your first time. Okay, there's obviously some nuance to this, but I didn't want to make this video too long, guys. I'll be making more videos on other aspects of this, so stick around the channel if you want more of this type of content. But that's the simplest breakdown of what I do from starting from scratch, guys. So amazing. So for over a year now, I've been helping people land their own positions through videos like this and also personalized mentorship. I've helped people like Ryan, who was working in a spa, to being fully remote, making $6K a month in just 3 weeks. I've helped Tyven, who was working in a wellness center, and help him land his first sales role where he was making $70K a year on target earnings. And I've helped many more people with no experience, guys, no college degree, and have helped them do this in a short period of time. On top of that, I've helped many people with my trainings, hundreds of people with this stuff that have continued to reach out to me and still do, saying that they've been helped in this way and that this stuff has changed their life. So if you're looking to break into your first fully remote sales role, this is where I'm feeling called to help people now. Maybe you're in sales right now, and you want to find a better job that aligns with your values as well, that I can help you as well. But whether it's breaking into your first role, having more flexibility, or making more money, that's exactly what I'm helping people with in the one-on-one work that I do. Okay. My only goal is to help you land an aligned remote sales role that fits your values and interests and makes you good money in 90 days or less. Okay. So the first link in the description is to apply to book a call with me to see if that makes sense for you. I won't be able to help everybody that applies. But if you're serious about this and you want my direct help, you can apply to work with me below. And if I think that you're a good fit, we can start working together and I can help you go remote and start making a full-time remote income. All right. I'll leave it there. I enjoyed making this video. I hope you got some value. Let me know if you did, and I'll see you in another one. All right. Chad's out for now. Take care. Bye-bye.